Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. That is not Jordan JC. He's asleep. No, actually, we did this late night because I'm actually live on the radio probably right now. So once you're done with this, go check out ESPN Chicago as I'm filling in for Cap and Jay Hood. How am I in two places at once? I don't know. I'm just that amazing. Shout out to you guys. Bear down. One love. We got a lot to get into on today's episode as we got to talk about some interesting numbers that have come out about Caleb Williams. And does it mean that maybe we're seeing a quarterback who is actually better than what the numbers say? We got to talk about that. Of course, get into the injury report that we saw. Doesn't look very good for Roma Dunze, but might have a burden back on our shoulders, ladies and gentlemen, which is a good thing in this situation. And a very, very interesting conversation that I can't remember what the third topic was. Oh, what are you most and least concerned about?
Confident.
Still getting used to the new studio, Joe. Don't worry about it. One day you'll be here. What are you most and least concerned about, or confident about, I should say, heading into the playoffs this year? All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Super producer, how you feeling, my guy? You up a little early or late in this situation?
I'm doing pretty well, Pat. Thanks for asking, guy.
It's good to have you on a morning breeze. As you know, we've turned you away so often on this channel. With the Jordan JC just being so regular on the morning breeze. Although I can't even throw him under the bus because this week I was the one irregular. But it's a holiday week. I ain't mad at that. Let's jump into this because
the clock is right twice. Clock is right, twice a day. That's all.
Let's jump into this because I saw this on Twitter over the weekend. I thought this was a very interesting conversation about, some of the numbers that we're seeing out of Caleb Williams. And a lot of people have been all over the completion percentage of Caleb. We know that it is down from last season, even though we all widely agree that he is a much better quarterback than last season. Most of his numbers look better than last season. He's top 10 in a bunch of categories that he had last season. But this stat came out. NFL drop percentage. Right now, the Chicago Bears lead the NFL by almost 2 more percentage points. With 21 drops this season, 11.2% of the passes Caleb Williams has thrown have been dropped. And they brought it up to say, does this put Caleb Williams into the MVP conversation? I don't know if 21 passes do that, although some of them we have seen could have possibly been touchdown runs. The Kyle Monangai drop comes to mind on a beautiful screen pass that would have probably sent him streaking to the house. But
KS has dropped lots of passes.
When you see numbers like that, Joel, does it make you feel better about where Caleb Williams is at? Because the thing for me, when I see what he's accomplished this season is, and even Ben Johnson has said this, throw the completion percentage to the side. I'll bet he probably wishes that he didn't put the 70% goal out there now because everybody's like, well, he ain't 70%. He ain't 70%. He ain't 70%. But a lot of it is because of him throwing the football away, keeping the ball out of harm's way. It feels like, though, we're seeing a quarterback who has grown and throughout the month of December who is looking very, very good.
What all we cared about this year was improvement. And so Ben Johnson said, you're going to see your best football by December. And they're starting to get to that point. The whole premise with this Bears team is that it's growing. All they've been doing is getting better and better each week. And there's still more improvement. And they're learning how to win and learning how to play. So Caleb learning how to play better situational, ball where though, like example, the ball that he said he dirted, at the end of the 49ers game.
Yeah,
that's something that's going to help him where even the week before that against the Packers or the week before, those type of losses or those type of throws in those scenarios is going to allow him to get better with that type of the history there. So, I mean, yes, I'd like him to have a higher completion percentage, but I think that it's based off situations that we've been dealing with. A lot of what he does though is that he runs out of the pocket and he's not trying to get sacked, and then he tries to throw the ball away. So a lot of times that affects his percentage. Half of that is the throwaways, and the other is the drops. And then there are some ducks that he does throw. He's still the last few weeks he started being a little bit better with in terms of hitting those layups and those easy throws. But he's definitely still missed some like wide throws.
Yeah.
So like if he could get sometimes it is a little bit of the pocket, how much of the offensive line is really doing a great job of protecting, which they are. And the other part is him getting flushed out of the pocket where he's trying to extend the play. So I think that's part of that. It goes into that 58-something%.
Yeah, and listen, what you've seen this year out of Caleb Williams has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, like, I get it. Like some of the percentages, some of the throws that we see aren't where you want to see him at just yet, but some of that truly is, right, just being off a little bit. New system, new timing. As we've seen the season going on, clearly he has gotten so much better at that. In fact, I think what's very good to see now, right, like this stat came out talking about comparing him to Drake May, who, by the way, to me is the MVP right now, right? And this is not in any way to slander Drake May, slight Drake May, but this is versus teams with winning records this season, what you've seen out of Caleb Williams. 1,159 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 90 passer rating. Drake May, 696 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 88 passer rating. Now, caveat for Drake May here, the division he's in kind of sucks. And if we're being honest, Tom Brady won a lot of Super Bowls beating up bad football teams. So it's not indicative at all. Bro, like, we being real. Like, Miami was never good. The Bills were always kind of mediocre or bad. And
we had a bad, they took
the Jets,
advantage of a division that was weak.
100%. And then he was able to do it to the rest of the league. So, again, not a slight to Drake May. To me, Drake May is the MVP of this season. But I do think that it's interesting when you see how Caleb Williams has performed versus some of the top teams that he's played, teams that have winning records this season. It is when he is locked in. And yes, maybe it is a lot at the end of the game. Maybe there is some fortune that puts him in that position. But when he gets in that position, that's when we're seeing him dominate. And I think the biggest thing that we need to see, especially coming off of that San Fran game, is exactly what we saw. When you need to go out there and be able to make big plays, get big completions, get the most important moments, right? Outside of that last pass where Ben Johnson put the blame on himself. He said, listen, that's on me. I didn't give him a good, I didn't get the play call in time. He's trying to piece it together. That's my fault. That's not on Caleb. I love how Caleb Williams then goes, yo, I got to put everybody in place. I got to know the situation there. I feel like we were a little disjointed. That's on me. It's almost like a quarterback and head coach conversation is great. But you see the development of this young man. And I think it's tough to just take completion percentage and say, this is who he is.
Yeah, but I mean, we could go, they can try to break down that last play all they want to. They were supposed to score on the hook and ladder play. So, and then they lost it. They had extra timeouts, but then they ended up going through them. And there was the plays before that lead up to that, like Burton catching the ball, not going out of bounds.
Yeah.
Like all of those type of things played into that. So now you're in this situation where you expected to score. Now, if you had more time, you could get set up. Maybe we could have did something differently. But I'd rather them figure these things out in the regular season while they lock up the number 2 spot, so that when they go into the playoffs, they're learning how to win these type of tight games. The thing is, they've come out winning more tight games than losing them. And so they can't help but get better. I was looking at some preliminary numbers of Caleb right now. Thing is, he has improved as quarterback, period. Last year, his quarterback rating was 87.8. He's at a 90.3 right now. And you talking about he had 68 sacks last year. Right now, he's 23. You know what I'm saying? That is insane. They dropped that number is reduced, but some of that is his escapability, getting out of that pocket. And I think that some of those throwaways affect that. But he actually has less completions and less attempts than he did last year. But that's because they actually have a running game now. So I think that in this new system, him learning how to play quarterback in the NFL, and I mean, it reminds me of I'm not comparing him to Josh Allen, but I'm comparing him the arc of that. Josh Allen had a very similar path of having a low percentage completion percentage. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when he gets Dable and he starts clicking, now this dude he's turned it around to 70%. This is Caleb technically in his, I'm just saying this is his real first year of real coaching, learning a real offense. Last year was an aberration of they just was like, here, that's a red shirt year for you.
Yeah,
So,
but you know what? I'll give him credit for. I feel like he learned a lot from last season. That is affecting this season. The throwaways. Ben Johnson being okay and saying, I don't care if you have 58%. I want you to be at 70%, but I don't care if you have 58%. If you're throwing the football away and avoiding bad passes, right? And you've seen throughout the season, there has been these moments where it's been a back and forth where it's like, hey, I don't like that he threw that pass away. I love that he threw this pass away, right? It's not every play that Caleb is making is perfect here, but what I love about what we're seeing out of him is you see a young man who I think took the 68 sacks that he had last season. One more, we would have had nice. The 68 sacks that he ended up taking last season. And he learned from it. He said, I don't want to get hit that much. I can avoid a lot, but if I can't get away, right? Last season was a lot of playing Superman because you had to. This year, you don't have to play Superman. And it feels like he understands that going into every single game. And I'll say this, Joe, like to me, if you're talking about big playoff runs here, this final game, there may be a little bit of the Bears got this in the bag. Dan Campbell's coming to play. Dan Campbell's not going to take L lying down, right? Like he wants to prove, I'm still the big boss in this mug.
Right.
I think a game like this versus a divisional opponent right before you go into the playoffs, before you play probably a divisional opponent again in the Green Bay Packers heading in to that playoff game, like I think that a game like that is one of those games that can be if you come out early and you jump on the Lions and you actually like get them out of the way quickly, they're not going to quit. But if you put up big points early, that shows you the confidence that Caleb has, because I think while it may not mean as much to us, there's a lot riding on perception in this game. And Ben Johnson has noticed all of every narrative that has happened this season. He has noticed the not being able to win close games, not being able to come back when down, not being able to we'll see what this Sunday brings, but building a first time 4,000 yard passer. Like I know he says in the media, that doesn't mean nothing to him. But I think it means something. They want to get these narratives out of the way. That's the final one on the quarterback position to where you can say you beat the Packers. You've dominated winning football all season. You found ways to improve this offense to where we're saying going into the playoffs, it's the strength of a team. I think this final notch on the belt could be massive heading into the playoffs. And it has to be, Caleb, you go in there and make sure that you put those boys away.
So this is the thing I think people need to realize. He's throwing at 7% completion or 50s. Yeah. That technically is not good. Usually when you're completing 50-some%, that means high turnovers. He's protecting the ball, which is why he has that percentage. So I wouldn't look at it like he's not at 70%, but he only has 6 interceptions. And I'm like, I got to see who's the lead, who actually is leading the league in interceptions. Like Dak has 10. Stafford
gotta be Geno, right?
Sam Darnold has
Geno
14.
Smith sucks. Let's see.
Yeah. Geno has 17. Tua has 15. I can appreciate that. I do want a better completion percentage. But if you're really watching the games, it's very easy. If you're watching the games, then you kind of understand what he's doing. If you're just looking at that number arbitrarily and like, 57, he's not good, he stinks, you're not watching what's happening because he's protecting the ball. So in some sense, it's actually, I can live with it because it's going to click. When this dude, when he figures it out.
I nailed it. Geno Smith.
Yeah, I said 17.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah. when it finally clicks for him, he's going to be a very dangerous quarterback because it's like he protects the ball. Once he's starting to trust his receivers getting open. Like the whole issue with him was NFL open versus college open. And so now you're starting to put the ball in certain spots. If he could sometimes he's zinging the ball too high for his receivers to catch the ball. So it's like either his footing or his placement of him throwing the ball properly. It's coming. And you started to see that second half of that first Packers game. That was the beginning to me of seeing Caleb really commanding the offense from that standpoint. And now we're seeing a better quarterback these last few weeks. This is going to be very scary as he keeps getting better in the playoffs.
Yeah. And hopefully he's going to continue to play and play more in the playoffs, right? Play all the way to the Super Bowl. That'd be great. Let us know how you guys feel. Do you feel like Caleb Williams has proven to be better than maybe the numbers have said? I mean, by the way, he is top 10 in passing yards this year. He is top 10 in touchdowns this year. He's performing incredibly well. Let me pull up what Caleb Williams is ranking in just about everything here on, of course, PFF. By the way, we got to stop with the PFF
He's
on
top.
the game, like on the intro graphics of like Sunday Night Football. Like when we were playing the 49ers this past week, PFF is like, Christian McCaffrey is the 18th best running back in football. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Caleb is number
sure
8. He's number 8 in passing. His completion, he's
6th in attempts. He's 8th in passing yards. He's 7th in touchdowns this year. He is 14th out of 42 quarterbacks in interception. He's only thrown 6. If you told me coming into the season, completion percentage, take it out of it.
Yeah.
Bears fan, hit the like button if you haven't done so, because you know this is 100% fact. If you had told me coming into the season, you could be heading into the final game with a quarterback that has a almost 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, about to possibly break the 4,000-yard curse that I could care less about at this point, and is leading you into the playoffs to start the season, you'd have been doing backflips and telling me, Pat, you're an idiot. There's no way that that's ever going to happen this season. It's year 1 of Ben Johnson.
Well, I kind of predicted they would,
Well, I think you predicted the wins. I think we all thought Caleb would have a better season.
We expected him.
I don't know if we thought this. He's balled this year.
No, you spent $13 million on a head coach. You're supposed to see something. Like you're matching a brilliant offensive mind with a very talented quarterback, and now we're seeing the fruits of that. And it's only year 1 of this. This is insane. Like we potentially have a Shanahan to whatever quarterback he gets. We have an Andy Reid with a Mahomes kind of situation, like getting a talented guy with a proven system.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. Josh McDaniels with Drake May. It's like you're getting a talent. You have a scheme that works with a talented quarterback, and now you're starting to see something because they weren't talking. Drake May was whatever. Even Jaden Daniels with Cliff Kingsbury. He's a proven offensive guy. Then you put a talent with him, and all of a sudden he's the greatest thing. They're making us. What did we have? Caleb had trash. In terms of what his coordinator was. Didn't do anything with him. So
yeah, no, it definitely shows the coaching matters, and I think that's the biggest thing. That's why heading into this Lions game, I think there's still going to be an importance placed on this game. Don't take your foot off of the pedal. Looking at the injury report on this, by the way, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. For today, unfortunately, it looks like we got another illness that has popped up on the injury report. Jonah Jackson now sick heading into this final game. He was DNP. We'll see if by game time, right? A lot of fluids, a lot of medicine, all that stuff. They'll try and get him back on the field there. Rome Odunze a little bit concerning here. DNP yet again with this foot. Ben Johnson has said he will help us this year. I'm assuming or hoping that means this is resting him until the playoffs get here, and we see Rome Odunze explode onto the scene. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, DNP with a concussion. Nick McLeod was limited. Ozzie Trapillo was limited. Josh Blackwell was a full go. Luther Burden was a full go. Very good to hear. And then Olamide Zaccheaus was a full go. Heading into this final game, Joel, I don't know if you're like me. I think that this could be a pecking order kind of game. I'm sure you saw the stats come out where just about every single receiver that the Bears have this year is around about 600 yards, almost the exact same targets. Like, I just remember people crying well, DJ Moore's paid like a number 1. Well, they don't throw the football like that here in Chicago. They get the ball to everybody. But as far as importance goes, I think you saw something out of Luther Burden in that last game. We can nitpick that final play, right, where he gets the opportunity to run out of bounds. He tries to continue to go for yards. Clock's running. You have to burn the timeout. Learning experience from a young wide receiver. You still had a chance to win the game at the end, blah, blah, blah. I think Luther Burden could be peaking to the top of the pecking order of what you currently have on the team right now, because when he gets the ball in his hands, it looks amazing.
He's dynamic, and you saw that from early on in the beginning of the season, and when he's gotten on the field, he's definitely made an impact. I'm not too worried about. I mean, with Rome, I would definitely like to have, of course, a complement of all of our players back, but knowing that the biggest one is Jonah Jackson, so I guess one of the guards has to step up and fill in for
Probably
him.
a Luke Newman, who also has been sick. So
yeah, so this is going to be an interesting game just to see how the final seeding plays out. I feel like, I'm not worried. Joe, our D line is whether Joe is in there or not. It's just vanilla of a defensive line. So my concerns really come into making sure that as long as we can keep Caleb healthy and he doesn't get killed, because the Lions still have some guys. They got some dogs still. They still got Hutchinson,
Aiden Hutchinson.
They got a nice complement of linebackers, and what's the two linebackers they have?
We'll see. I will say this: we'll see who plays. Dan Campbell did say this week that, and I'll try and pull up their injury report here in a second. Dan Campbell did say this week that he's not going to play guys who are injured. So we'll see what ends up happening. Their injury report right now looks like a mash unit. Tristan Colon is DNP. Aleem McNeil is DNP. Panay Sewell is DNP with that ankle. Alex Anzalone was limited. Awasika was limited. Taylor Decker was limited. Harper was limited. Mahogany was limited. Manu was limited. Amon-Ra was limited. And Maddox was a full go. Like, are you going to see the full slate of Detroit Lions out there if guys are dealing with nagging injuries and they know they're not making the playoffs? Doesn't mean they don't want to play spoiler. Doesn't mean they don't want to go out there and embarrass Ben Johnson one last time, but you could see possibly a cautious approach, which would be a first from Dan Campbell coming into this game. Yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully they're able to get this game here in Chicago with Detroit coming to town. Let's finish it off with this. Super Producer, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do as we head into this playoffs, right? You can't overlook the Lions game. We've talked about this game a ton this week, but we are going to the playoffs after this. We'll see where we end up. Eagles aren't playing any start. Do I have that on here? I might have playoffs on here. Do I got playoffs? Oh, did I take playoffs off? Oh, that sucks.
I took it off my board too.
I had it. We didn't make the playoffs so long, or we actually started making the playoffs. We didn't need it anymore. We started winning games. I just hope we can win a game.
We can win a game.
With us heading into the playoffs here, where do you feel most and least confident? Let's start with most confident. Start off with the positives here. Where do you feel most confident on this team heading into the playoff?
A continual improvement of the offense having to carry the load. So the offense getting better each week and Caleb getting more and more comfortable. I just see it like it would be great to see getting to a complete game from the offensive side. Like against the 49ers, for example, there were still drives that they could not sustain. They allowed San Francisco to get a lot of top. They had a lot of top.
They had a lot of top. I mean, so much top. I mean, and we were just giving it out.
Yeah, it was just top for everybody. It was just insane.
Yeah. Time of possession, of course, is what we're speaking on.
Of course. And when you do that, you're just making your defense tired. So you have to control the ball. You kind of have to play a little bit more like Philly, but what would be great is that you can just run down the field, mix of passes and play action and score, when you a little bit more than what's been happening. That way you have to keep that defense fresh, because that's the only way you're really going to be able to get a few of those takeaways. But if you're not like what they did last week, I mean, they barely had like 100 yards rushing between two running backs. Yeah, and you're not sustaining that.
No, I think you need to run the football more. I think Ben Johnson talked about that. But listen, when you put up 38 points, and you're scoring how you are, sometimes you have a game like that, right? Like, I'm not going to complain about.
The
It was
Bears did
31.
or 31. We had a run back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like
31 points, still a lot of points, dog.
it is, but you can't give up 42.
You can't give up 42. But here's the thing. I had this argument with my guy Jack McGrath, AI Jack, on the air this week. Dog, it didn't matter how much rest that defense got. That defense looked bad after the first drive.
I know.
They weren't tired after the first drive.
What I'm saying is
They were just cooked after the first drive. They could have slept at halftime for an hour, woken up, went back on the field, and still looked as bad as they looked in that game.
yes, but if you only have the ball, if you only have 5 minutes of time
Possession.
you gotta have more time of possession. You
Yeah.
cannot sit there and expect that defense cannot get to the quarterback like that. I mean, they might get one sack if that. But
Yeah, but I mean, like, when it happens that early, though, like, it's on the defense. I don't sit there and look at Ben Johnson and say, why are you scoring the football so fast? Like, that when it's happening that early on, I mean, literally, it was the interception, and they thought they were ready to clock out for the rest of the day.
well, they got robbed of that. They got robbed of that one interception too.
CJ did get. I mean, by letter of the law, that's a penalty. But yeah, I mean, but here's the bottom line on that as well. You got robbed of that interception after a 8-minute drive that puts you in the red zone.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't sit here and I'm like, oh, Ben Johnson's got to figure out how to steady that time of possession. I think he needs to run the football more. I agree, but. And I think that what we saw versus Dallas early in the season is a great game plan for that, especially going into the playoffs. What I mean by that is, remember, there were just like these long run the football drives, and you just didn't give Dallas the ball back, right? Mm-hmm. Defense is well rested, but you really just didn't give Dallas enough times to possess the football, and you were putting up 7. If you're doing that, you can go a long way in the playoffs because now your defense doesn't need to be great 100% of the time.
Well, what that means too is that, but that's what I'm saying. It's not that I need you to run. It's the right mix to hopefully sustain drives and convert on third downs. If you're poor on your conversions and keep giving them the ball and they're scoring, the nice thing is the Bears can score. That's what we are seeing these last few weeks. That makes me feel really good that the Bears can do it. Caleb and Ben Johnson will put up some points. The issue is that if you keep throwing the ball, you're not running the clock. You're not playing keep away. But what I like is that what we want is that we want these quarterbacks to feel the pressure. The only quarterback in the playoffs, well, there's 2 quarterbacks I'm worried about in the playoffs, and that is Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. No, I meant Matt Stafford and Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Those 2 are the only quarterbacks I'm actually worried about in the NFC in the playoffs. If you got to make these other guys throw the ball when pressure hits, and you got to keep throwing, they have a greater propensity to throw that ball away. Darnold will throw that ball away. Jalen Hurts, we want to make him one-dimensional, make him throw the ball. We want Jordan Love throwing the ball, and we're not necessarily worried about Bryce Young. If they make the playoffs, it's either Tampa Bay gets in or I personally think that San Francisco is going to take number 1. I think they're going to go number 1.
Yeah.
I think they go number 1. I think Tampa Bay actually might beat Carolina. And now you got San Francisco's number 1. Seattle goes to number 5, and then you got Tampa Bay in that bracket. I think 3 and 6 is set, and if we win, then I think we should. Hopefully, we win against the Lions and to keep that second spot. So the only quarterback now. That means if Baker gets in over Bryce Young, he can throw the ball away too. So we want those quarterbacks throwing the ball if we're up because we can actually sustain drives.
Yeah. Listen, where I'm most confident in heading into this playoffs, and maybe this is the crazy thing to say, but most confident in Caleb Williams. Like Ben Johnson, we'll have a conversation about, we're having that. It all comes down to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's not the one throwing the football out there. The one thing I'm confident, and where a lot of quarterbacks get themselves in really good situations, is they don't turn the football over in the playoffs. Remember that Jordan Love playoff run where he beat Dallas. That was a great run until he decided to throw crossbody and turn the football over. Until he said, let me turn into prime Brett Favre right quick.
That's what we want.
He was literally playing where you were like, the Packers about to go to the Super Bowl. Dang. And then he just did that crossbody. This ain't Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Like,
That's what we
All
want.
of a sudden, it was just like, oh, okay. Like, and you've seen time and time again with Jordan Love in the playoffs, the turnovers in the most important moments are what put him away. The quarterbacks that don't turn the football over are the ones who find a way to win more times than not. And sometimes that's all it takes. Especially, don't be surprised even if you see Caleb Williams go into I'm not going to say a full game manager mode. I think you'll utilize him, but maybe what we saw with Jalen Hurts last season. Hey, when we need you to throw the ball, put the ball in the air, be on time, be on target.
Yeah, but
we might hand this football off a lot in this game because we know that this is going to help us control the clock like you talked about. I'm confident in Caleb Williams going into the playoffs and putting the Bears in positions more times than not to be successful.
Yeah, but the thing is, the difference is Caleb is an ascending player that can actually make those throws. We finally have the quarterback that we've been waiting for a very, very, very long time. Yeah. So it's not like the Eagles, for example, really protected Jalen Hurts because they ran like they ran. We have an option to have a dynamic quarterback with an amazing running game. That's something that I'm trying to think maybe Stafford with the Rams. That's how they won a Super Bowl because they can run the ball. Then they finally got a quarterback. The 49ers. Huh?
And Aaron Donald.
Well, you have a defense, but my point is that having a complementary running game with a great that was like John Elway for a long time, right? At the end of this year, he got the running game going.
I had to tap into his documentary on Netflix. I heard it's pretty good.
I mean, back in the days, Dan Marino never had a running back. He couldn't get sustained. So you got to throw. When you're always throwing, when you got to complement, if you only have a run first team, you can win. Teams have won in the past with a strong running game with an average running quarterback. But to get both together, no, I think the fact that Caleb has 6 interceptions, is he in college, was he 94 touchdowns and 10 interceptions?
Something crazy like that. He's never been a high interception guy.
Like 94, and like he's going to get better as he ascends in the NFL. I want to say 94 and 10.
Caleb Williams in college. Remember, he's a 2 college guy here. 93 touchdowns, 14 interception in his time in college. The year he won the Heisman, 42 and 5.
Yeah, there you go. 42. So I knew he has low interception numbers. So that's him. So if those are the things you're doing that's the DNA of who he is. He's just going to get better. So I think we're in a position where they said the Bears are a year ahead early. This is the situation where maybe what Ryan Poles was echoing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We're going to take
the North and never give it back, baby. He never gave a year. He never put an end date on it. He just said, once we take it, we're not giving it back. Let's hope that happens. Let's hope that we see that happen. Which, listen, it may. I mean, like, I don't know if Kevin O'Connell has an answer for the quarterback, although he does have JJ playing a little bit better. I think the Lions might be in a little bit of trouble here. They got to find the right OC, that next guy. Sometimes you have an off year and you find that guy and you're right back on playing. But Jared Goff at this point is what, 30? Is he 31, 32?
31, 32.
Jared Goff, 31 years old. He'll be next year during the season. Will be his age 32 season. So that window's starting to close a little bit, right? Like
what'll happen is I'm not saying we're the Patriots, nothing like that. But remember,
the rest of the teams in the division are too good for us to be the Patriots.
What I'm getting at is that how they rebuilt their team. So right now, this is the offense heavy. The Bears got to still build this defense for next year. So if they do a good job of building that next year, they now come in as favorites for most of these games versus kind of like they went from being underdogs to now most of the times like kind of even.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where the Bears will actually be up. And it'll be nice for them to actually build and construct this roster for, in order to take over the North. So it could be done.
Listen, this is the beginning. And we're talking about how we can see a path for the Bears to the Super Bowl. This is year 1 of this thing, right? Will the magic continue this season? And then they're going to hopefully add to the defensive line. And then they're going to add younger linebackers. And then I'm preparing y'all now. There's a lot of people they're not going to sign. And y'all are going to be very upset. Preparing the fans now. A lot of people on this team this year that are your favorite. What I tell y'all, your favorite Chicago Bears, favorite Chicago Bears. A lot of people that may not be back. They're not having Deshaun right back. I ain't got an extra $20 million to give another DB. Man, I have a CJ Gardner-Johnson back. Got a lot of money invested in DBs. There may be some tough decisions happening this offseason. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But
let's flip that line. I want to take.
Trade anything you can to get a defensive line here. Max Crosby is doing one-legged fadeaway jump shots to prove that his meniscus is not messed up. He could have played this week. Go get Max. That's my bottom line with all of it. Hey, I guarantee you, first video after the Chicago Bears are eliminated, should the Bears go after Max Crosby? Book it.
Why can't Trey Hendrickson just walk over here?
Now give me Max. Max younger, and Max is a more complete player than Trey.
Yeah, but you had to give up to get Max versus
that's
this
okay.
guy
give up
walking over here.
That's okay. Yeah, give me Max. Yeah, I want Max. Max and Caleb. Oh, that team's swaggy too. I play with that team. That team got a lot of swag to it too. Give me Max. I want to talk to Max Crosby in the locker room. That's what I want to do. Where are you feeling least confident going into the playoffs here, Joel?
If I look at two trains of thought, I mean, on the offensive side as well as defensive side, defense is pretty much a no-brainer that the defensive line can't really get home like we want them to. So it's also Dennis Allen figuring out who he goes up against, and because it's a chess match, right? Until they figure out, I got him, and these are the plays to stop this run or stop what they're doing and figure them out. So I'm more worried about our defensive line than anything. That's the weakest link to me on this team. Offensively, more worried about, again, getting to a point where Caleb is. I'm very happy that I'm starting to see him make his reads. The 1, 2, 3 back to like Caleb. I was like, holy crap! This dude is actually starting to make reads. I guess receivers stop dropping the ball. That honestly that kills you. You're watching these games, and sometimes you've seen these wide open these scenarios like. The ones that felt really good, for example, was when he threw that bomb to Colston Loveland against the Bengals.
Yeah,
dudes knocked it to each other. He took it home. Like, what would have happened if Zacchaeus against the Redskins catches that drag route off his hands? What would have happened if this other guy catches the ball? I mean, in that Rome drops some passes. Like, a lot of these guys drop tons of passes in key situations where it's like, dude. And then we'll come back and regroup sometimes. Sometimes we've won, sometimes we've lost. Yep. But man, I need these coaches in understanding these situations and the receivers catching the ball. I'm my least confident on the offensive side of that, and at least confident on the defensive line getting some pressure.
Yep. You know what? Like I'll say this. Not that I'm all of it could be an issue, right? Defensive line, receivers dropping the ball. Where I'm least confident is, does the lack of experience finally bite us in the backside? Yeah. That's the one thing that we have seen time and time again, playoff scenario, and I'm not saying with the Bears, but just playoff scenarios where when you haven't been there, sometimes the moment becomes too big. Now, Ben Johnson has this team prepared where we haven't seen that a ton this season. Game-winning scenarios, end of game versus your rivals. Right? We haven't talked about the moment being too big for this team at all this season. But the playoffs, as many professionals have told us, is a different beast. You play a little bit tighter. You every play could mean something, right? Like you could be talking about a pass that's missed in the first half, and that's the pass that would have been a touchdown. You lose by 1 point, where if you catch that football, you're up 6. You're putting them in a completely different position. But now it feels like the Bears have been on this. We're too young to realize that we're not supposed to be doing this yet.
Ignorance is bliss.
You know what I mean? Kind of like that's how it feels like this team has been moving over the past couple of months, because it's just like, this is crazy how we're seeing them come out here and make these big plays. Luther Burden making massive plays. Isaac Trapillo has been phenomenal. Like, not even just like second-year play, rookies, right? Like Colston Loveland. Like, they've been, it's like, what do they say? You're too dumb to realize you're not supposed to be here. That's what it seems like is happening.
I think the best thing that's happened to this team though all of those cardiac bear type games, and you're winning most of them, those are huge. I think that is like I keep saying, that's DNA of this type of team, building that type of grit. That's saying that these are extreme confidence builders. So the issue is, like, do they learn from it to apply that in the playoffs so that, like you said, because you can't keep living off of. I think the thing is that if they understand that what you do, like you said, the first, the second, third quarter, now you put all this pressure on the fourth quarter. You got to come back and win the game. The issue is every quarter matters. You can't sit there and just lollygag, in terms of like not sustaining drives. So that was my point though. Part of that is some of the coaching with their experience, making sure they do the right things. Offense, the receivers catching passes, defense, the D-line getting pressure. But I think that these games that they've been winning helps them prepare them for the playoffs in general. I do agree with you that the pressure is ratcheted up in the playoffs, but these games have been, they've been tight games, cardiac games. I'm sitting there like, I told the other game we was watching, I was like, I'm actually nervous. I'm actually nervous.
Palpitations. I got palpitations.
I'm sitting there like, but that explosion, like against that Packers game, for example, like that's a nail biter. You had a kick return that they took back. You stopped them on the 3rd and 1. And then they fumbled the ball. Then they come down and make 2 key plays. And then what's the name throws a touchdown. Like, that is too much. Because like you said, we've been so used to bad Bears football and not even being in games, or we lose the games because the coach doesn't make the right call or the quarterback can't make the right throw. So it's like, wow, this is a whole different ballgame for us.
Yeah, and I think that the team will be prepared. That much we know.
Yeah.
The part for me that I think I get concerned with is it only takes a couple of plays in the playoff. It only takes one missed catch for you to be the team on the outside looking in. It only takes one tipped pass for you to be the team on the outside looking in. And that could be with everything that you built, with you being massively confident, right? And it's just that one moment where maybe that confidence wanes. That's just where I'm least confident in the team heading in. It doesn't mean it's a lack of confidence.
No, my least confidence is Cairo Santos. He makes me nervous every time he kicks.
Yeah.
Anything over 35.
But it's a lot here too, though.
Yeah, but dude, anything at 40 and more, I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I am nervous about him. That would be the only thing that breaks the heart is him. And everybody else does just enough to get to a point. If I gotta tier it, it's Cairo, D-line, receivers catching ball.
This season, Cairo Santos from 50 plus, he's 4 for 6. From 40 to 49, he's 8 for 12. From 30 to 39, he is hold on, did I read this wrong? I read this wrong. From 50, okay, field goals made. Here it is. From 50 to 50, from 50 plus, he's 4 for 6. From 40 to 49, he's 10 for 12. From 30 to 39, he is 8 for 9. From 20 to 29, he is 3 for 3. He's been more accurate than he hasn't. But I do get what you're saying. I think that is one of the benefits, though, of having teams have to come to Chicago.
Yeah. It
is one of the benefits of bring these guys here. I feel more comfortable with Cairo here than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because, like, we saw, what was it? Was it the Packer game where, like, I don't know, was the Packer game or was it the Browns game? One of them where, like, the winds are whipping in there and Cairo kicks it, like, hard left and it bends back right and it's right down the middle. And then whoever the kicker was that comes in on the other team, they kicked the ball. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like,
yeah.
I actually feel comfortable with Cairo here in Chicago, but it would be a tough feeling if you went down there. But, hey, maybe this is redemption again, right? Matt Nagy comes down to the kicker. Maybe this is redemption for Bears fans where Cairo Santos knocks it through, wins you the game, you move on in the playoffs, you go win the Super Bowl. We'll see what ends up happening. Let us know what you're most and least concerned about heading into this season. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, for the super producer, Joel Holt, this your boy, Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.
One love. One love.
Look at this guy. One love. How about no love? I want no love playing well in play.